Hello, my name is Miro and thank you for joining me today for something that we have never done on this channel except like a million times, which is rearrange my RUDSTA cabinet. And you can see that it is finished. So this is potentially the wrong time to check in, but I did not film an intro before I started. I don't know why, don't ask me. It's not like I'm the one doing the planning. Instead, I will tell you how we have arrived to where we have arrived. So you do get to see a bit of a sneak peek of the finished project, but I will again tell you exactly what I did, what tools I used, and what I would do differently. There are some things that I still plan to do, and we will discuss that in the video. And I hope that this video gives you some inspiration what you can do with your cabinet, whether it be an IKEA cabinet or something that you thrift. I will also give you a tour of the plants in the end. So we have Hoyas. I know that this is a Hoya channel mostly. So there are Hoyas, do not worry, but there are also a lot of begonias, mostly begonias. There's some emblemanthas, margravias, and some Gesneriads. In the future, I will put some orchids in there, some mounted orchids, and there will be some carnivorous plants, but I did not get those yet. I am currently creating a list of things that I would like to order because I do think that that top part is a bit empty. And I will point out also some of the concerns that I have with the cabinet, because I always have concerns. Just concerning a lot, part of my personality. But anyway, as you can also see, we have changed a little bit the layout of the room. There will be, I think, next week a makeover of the room. I still need to finish it. Most of it is done, but like there is a one messy corner behind you, so we're not going to talk about that. But I think temporarily we will use this framing. Even though I don't really love it, I still have to do something with this cabinet, which is I think mostly going to stay like this. But I will tell you one thing, I am absolutely in love with this layout, and I have been thinking of doing that over here as well, but putting just Hoyas in there. But also I have been thinking about getting a couple of other begonias, so but this is predominantly for begonias. Let's get into what I did. As you know, I have been struggling a little bit with what I can do with my cabinets. I have gone through many setups, not just with my RUDSTA cabinets, but with my Millsbo cabinet as well. And I do find it a little bit annoying to redo them all the time, but it is also a lot of fun. If you have been here from the beginning, you know that there have been million and one setups, and I'm always saying like, this is the one. And now I'm thinking this is the one. But really, it's probably not the one, like a spoiler alert. I think this is like the final step, or not the final, second to last step in the transformation of these cabinets, because I would really like to transform my RUDSTA cabinet into one of those terrariums that people have, but at the same time I think it would be a lot of work. I think it would be difficult to keep the plants. Some days I completely want to get rid of them. I think sometimes they're just glorified glass shelves. I think Fern mentioned, Wild Fern, I think she said in one of her recent videos, like sometimes I'm just wondering if I should just get rid of the cabinets. And I commented on that video and said, yeah, same, but at the same time I'm like, do I need one more? Because they can look very nice, but they can also look very ugly. Like currently, I'm super annoyed with this one because you can see it's very dusty. The glass is not very clean, even though I just cleaned it before the video and I don't know how to clean the glass. But for whatever reason, because these cabinets are black, it shows up so much more when there is dust or something on them. But anyway, that's not the point of the video. This is the point. So as you know, I did want to turn this into a full terrarium, you know, with a background, but I just never did that in the past, and I think it's not a great idea to start with something of this size. Of course, I'm always the one to say, you know, you will learn on your mistakes, and that is the best way to learn, but I do like my begonias quite a lot. I am fairly new to them. Some of us, listen, some have been with us for over 6 months, and I think that's concerning because they're doing really well. That aside, I just did not want to lose the plants. I did not want to have to go through the rescuing process if I messed something up, so I just decided this is the safest bet. Now, I do have some notes for myself, and I would like to tell you, if you want to maybe follow this video, use it as inspiration, bear in mind that I also don't really know what I'm doing. You know, I'm just trying things out. None of this is like gospel or anything. Anything that you read, see, or whatever on the internet, none of it is the gospel. So just, you know, you do things at your own risk. This cabinet in the past was for my Hoya caudatas that are now in my grow tent, and I do kind of miss that setup as well. I think that was one of the better setups. But because RUDSTA cabinets are divided in 3 levels, you can't really adjust the shelf however you want it. I do think if you wanted to grow Hoyas in these, it would be best and sort of make it so you can halfway through put a shelf. You can put a shelf here and here, but I find it more useful if you could just do 2 levels, top and bottom, because these are just not very big like that. But that aside, as you know, in the beginning, and for the most of this cabinet's life, when it came to me from a friend, it served as the caudata glorified shelf. And when my friend had it, because we grew plants together, she had one of those Scotty's backboards from IKEA mounted on the back, and I think we had aeroids and some Hoyas in there, but I mostly had Hoyas in it. And actually, it will later come in useful that it had those holes, because I'm super scared and lazy to drill these. I'm mostly scared to drill the cabinets. I don't want to disassemble them, which would be the safest way to drill into the cabinet because of the glass on the side. But I just didn't want to drill any more holes than there already are. So there were 2 holes on the wall of the cabinet, and we will see that those were actually quite useful. But let's just start from the beginning. As you know, a lot of people do weather strip these cabinets, and this cabinet was weather stripped. There is some remaining adhesive that I really could not get off. I used vinegar and several cleaning products. I could probably get that off. If I really went in with a butter knife, I probably could scrape that off, but I really didn't want to do it because my goal here is to have these plants grow so well that we don't even see the background all that much. So I decided not to put in more effort than it was necessary. I think that for some of you, this will be a big issue. You will be bothered by that, but you can definitely see there is a bit of adhesive in the back. I think it gives it character, you know. We see what the cabinet has been through with me. The plants that I now have in this cabinet have been in there for several months. And if you have one of these cabinets, you know that they're not really that great at holding any humidity inside. The whole point of this is so we can grow plants that do want higher humidity. I don't have really an issue in my room with low humidity, but I do find it a little bit easier because they don't get dusty inside the cabinets or the grow tents. So I do find it also nice to have them. But I also, since we have this glass enclosure, why not up the humidity a bit? Instead of weather stripping, because I safely put away my weather stripping tape to a place where I couldn't find it again, I decided to use silicone glue to sort of seal the cabinet for a couple of reasons. I got a misting system for this cabinet, which we will talk about, and sometimes the water pools on the bottom, and I'm afraid that it will leak from the cabinet onto the floor, and that's not a desirable trait. So I decided to seal the cabinet for that reason, but also so we can have the humidity a bit higher. I didn't go too crazy. For the most part, I think I sealed all the sides. I just didn't seal it here. There is like on the top here of the RUDSTA, you can't really see, but I will show you in a B-roll, there is a small opening, and which was useful for some other things, and there is a little crack here between the doors. Now, we could seal that, but we won't. We will not do that. We will allow some air to get in. For the most part, air is not our enemy until some future times. Anyway, so I did not entirely seal the cabinet. Now, the light that I got is a 16-watt light from a hydroponics store. I use the same lights for the Hoyas here, and each of these shelves has 16 watts. And here I only have one on the top, and there is nothing until the bottom. That is one of the things here that I think I might fix. I might add one more light on the top because you can daisy chain them, but it potentially will be too strong. It will be 32 watts, and there isn't that much space between here and the first of the plants. So it might be a bit too much. I think a better solution would be to get some thin LED strips and to put them here in the corners. But they will have to be very thin because there isn't much space here. I used to have in my Mills book cabinet, I used to have vertical lights in the corners and they fit there quite nicely, but that one is just a little bit different. The corners are a little bit chunkier, so you can fit a light in here. Here, I think it will really have to be something super thin, especially because we have the mesh on the side as well. If we didn't, it would be much easier, but I also wanted the mesh on the side to completely maximize this space. As for attaching the lights, I used magnetic hooks. I found them to be quite useful in this project. For the lights and for this mesh, I used magnetic hooks, and I used different ones. For the lights, I used one that can hold, I think, maybe 2 kilos, which is about 4 pounds, I think. And I got 2 of those for the each end of the light, and there was like a small opening in the lights, so it was easy to hook them. And it's pretty good. I do want to now change that here as well, but it's not really necessary. But it was a really nice and elegant solution. And I used a different type of a hook for the wire, or not a different type, it is the same type, but it's a chunkier magnetic hook that can hold up to 8 kilos, which is I think around maybe 16, 17 pounds. I'm not really sure. And I used 2 hooks per mesh. So technically this should be able to hold up to 16 kilos, or about 32, 33, maybe even a bit more pounds, but I don't find that it's that strong, the magnet. I can, with a bit of effort, I can actually pull the wire down. So what I did is I used zip ties, which we will get into, but I think I will get, not for the sides, that's not the issue, but for the big net in the back, I think I will get to more of the magnets. Now I did have to drill 1 hole in the cabinet so I could get the light inside. I did that in the top corner. I drilled a hole with, you know, that pyramidal spherical thingy drill thing that you have, and a lot of people use that for the cabinets. I did the same here. I do think it would be best if you could remove the glass, but I did not. There was one of the pre-existing IKEA holes, so I just made it larger, so it was a relatively easy process, but again, it is a bit scary because these cabinets, everything shakes when you drill into them, and yeah, I could easily see the drill slipping from me and breaking the glass. So I don't know. I think maybe do this before or be very careful. You know your limits, I guess. But I use that so I can put the cable inside from the light. And it was also useful because I could put the head of the humidity meter inside through that hole. So that's quite nice because the holes from IKEA, because it does come pre-drilled. These cabinets were essentially intended to be used for display of, I guess, cups, plates, whatever. So they do provide you with some holes for the lights, but they're not big enough if you want to get the cable from these types of light through. If you're doing the wiring yourself, then it's possible. I did it before, but this is just more convenient because it's easier to attach and detach if something happens to the light. Now for this mesh in the back, it is white, and I didn't know at the time of ordering that he could make it also in black. I do regret that, and I know that I could have spray painted it, but honestly, when I was assembling this, I was going through rough several days. Things were happening that were a bit cuckoo, so I was just done. I was just done, and I put in the white mesh. I will have to really, really hate it to repaint it because it's attached with zip ties, and those are not that easy to get in because I used very small zip ties so they could get through the holes. And you know, I don't like to work with small things, you know, big hands here, big fingers, and I just get a little bit annoyed. So I don't know. I don't think that I will take this down. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll be super bored in like October or something, and then I will disassemble the whole thing and then spray the wire. But I don't think so. I think the white gives it a nice contrast, though it probably would look stealthier in black. But this was custom made. It took measurements of my cabinet, and I found a guy who makes metal things. And I was not very clear because he does make these nets, wires, whatever you want to call them, but they're actually displays for newspaper. So they do come with a kickstand. And the thing is, I had to wait like 2 weeks for him to make 3 of those, and all of them had a kickstand that was welded in. So I had to saw it off, which wasn't ideal because first of all, it was more expensive. Now I have these extra kickstands laying around, and it would be much cheaper, and I would have gotten them much faster. So, you know, make sure to be very clear when you order something custom made. I was not. I just said that I need the net in such and such dimension, but I did so replying to his ad where these nets are actually kickstands. So he could not have known. There was no way. I mean, he could have read my mind, which, I mean, it's fair. You should always read my mind, right? He was actually quite a nice guy, but it is custom made, so there is no link or anything that I can provide you with. I know there are similar nets that you can find on Amazon, but we do not have Amazon here. I have to repeat it every time when people tell me, you can find this on Amazon. I cannot. Amazon does not deliver here. No Amazon. So I cannot find it on Amazon. And I was happy to find someone that can make this for me. First of all, because, you know, he's a small business. I get to help him out in a way. And also it is custom made. So it is a perfect fit. And it would be even more perfect if I was super clear and if I told him to paint it in black, because this doesn't come in white. He actually coats the nets himself. And for whatever reason, I just assumed that the white is the only color that he does, but much later I saw that it's not, that it could have been any color. The mister that I got is a used one. It's Exoterra Monsoon 2. The reviews aren't the best, but for whatever reason I thought mine will be different. It's not. It is a used one, and the mister inside, it's actually here. I don't know if we can see that. You can see that. Sorry, my camera screen is not really working still. So this is the unit that I need to refill here. And you can see there is an on button, there is an off button, and a cycle. So the cycle means that you can set this to work automatically. For example, I have it set to every 12 hours it sprays for 20 seconds. These are seconds. It goes from 2 to 120 seconds and then it stops. And you can set it for 1, 2, 4, 8, 12, 6, 20, and 24 hours. So that's very useful. In the past, when I didn't have it with silicone sealed, and when I didn't have so many plants, I had it every 4 hours for 20 seconds, but now I did make the interval longer, so it's every 12 hours, and it works great for now. But when this arrived, it actually had an issue. There is a tube inside here, inside this plastic. So you can actually lift this up. Oh, let's not fuck it up. So there is a tube inside, and you're supposed to be able to lift this up, by the way. It's not broken. But there is a tube inside here, and there is a pump in here. I think in other misting systems like Mist King, that is separate. It's not such a fancy design, but it's a much more reliable system. The issue here is because everything is packed, the tube got melted a bit. So there was a leak. And I guess this guy didn't know. I'm not really sure because he did buy it used. But when I turned it on, it worked great, and the next day it didn't work anymore. And I saw condensation inside, so I actually took everything apart. Of course, there is no warranty if you buy something used. So I took everything apart and saw that there was a leak. I dried off the electronics. I wiped the motherboard or whatever board with alcohol to prevent any rust, and it worked. It started to work again. I did use the electrical tape to fix that leak. The tube needs replacing, but it's really difficult to get off. So I'm kind of keeping my fingers crossed. It works, you know, for now. So we'll see. But you do have an opening here, and you're supposed to fill it here through this. But I'm not doing that because that... Sorry, I did knock that off actually. Because if you fill it through here, the water can actually get inside as well. You're supposed to use distilled or RO water with this. I'm using RO water, and it's always on, but it doesn't mist all the time. And It will overheat too. When I was changing the nozzles, it did overheat because I had to try it all the time. But it quickly cools down. It is a cheap solution, it is a sleek solution, but it's not something that I recommend. Now, why I got a mister? I essentially thought that I could fully automate this. It doesn't work actually like that. These plants will still need my care. I think it will make it easier, but yeah, they will still need more of my care. I think if this was planted, it would have worked better. But because they're not, they're in the pots, it serves the purpose of almost of a humidifier. But not really, because this is actually mist. So it's not like humidifier, which is steam. This is an actual mist, as if you took your sprayer and then sprayed inside. It is what it is. I think it will help. I don't think how useful it will be. I think you can do without it. It's cool to have it. It wasn't very expensive. It was like 80 bucks or something like that, so it's fine. I think the new one is around 200. I wouldn't buy a new one. Knowing what I know, I think I would find a different solution. Now, the nozzles that this came with actually clogged. They clogged right away, and thankfully I had spare ones, but those clogged too. I don't really know why, because this is RO water, and you're supposed to soak the nozzles in vinegar, and I did overnight. It did not help, and they still remained clogged. I had issues from day one with the nozzles as well. And because the nozzles have the silicone suction cup thing, that doesn't really hold well. They kept falling off all the time, and I wanted to silicone them in place. But instead I actually found that there is a store in Hungary, and I ordered 2 nozzles from them. Now, at the time of purchase, because I already spent a lot of money on some of the plants, on the mesh in the back, on pots, repotting stuff, mixes, etc. I couldn't afford to get a nozzle with multiple heads. So I do have 2 tubes, and they go in each corner of the cabinet, and each of them has 1 head attached. But you can get such an attachment that has up to 3 or 4 heads, even more I think, and you can point them in different directions. So I could point them at the wall, at the sides, down. It would have been better, but those are much more expensive, and maybe in the future I will upgrade that, because I find these to be quite good. We'll see how long the system works, and if I actually find it super useful, and then I might upgrade it. I'll think about that in the future. But anyway, I got the nozzles as well. They are magnetic. Since this is a metal cabinet, try to get magnetic things. It makes it so much easier than any suction cups or anything. Just go magnets all the way if you can. So the nozzles are magnetic. They're working really well, but I did have an issue attaching them. All right, I'm about to start the system, so you will be the first ones to see if there is an issue. Okay, so it's currently leaking. That's not good. Currently leaking. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, I will give that a 1. Thankfully, I do have a towel, and thankfully, I did put a lot of silicone here, so it's leaking. Let's try this again. Attempt number 2. Okay, so attempt number 2 went pretty much like attempt number 1. So that's not great. I will stop my camera and try to figure this out. Essentially, I did flood the cabinet for a couple of hours until I figured out why they were not attaching properly. Oh my gosh. Can you hear that? That towel is soaked. So we're gonna take him. Just gonna take him. Okay, bye. But we got it working, which is the most important thing, and I could move on with my project. I did mention that these had to be zip tied in, these nets. So if you have the RUDSTA cabinet, again, you will know that there is an opening here. So I use that opening to zip tie in 2 spots, those on the sides. And my friend drilled holes in the back. So I use those to essentially loop a zip tie through. It's more of like a fail-safe, if I can say it like that. If the magnets give out, something will still hold these. They're not going to fall down and the plants are not going to be damaged. But I would definitely secure it in some way. Again, I will get a couple of more magnets for the back and just like for the lulls, so I can have more magnetic hooks. I will order more. They're super useful. I might use them in my other projects as well. Now, the plants and how they are attached. So I have plants, oopsie, I have plants in the bottom, on the sides. I have some small Gesneriads here that I'm keeping, which do need to be watered. Mostly I have these attached with IKEA clips. The Hoya here, you know, I will repot them eventually, so it's the same aesthetic. But these on the sides are not getting much water from the nozzles because I have the nozzles pointing kind of towards the center because that's where majority of the plants is. However, because my mix is very porous, I don't find that they are... Oh my gosh, you terrified me. I don't find that my Hoyas are over saturated. At least they're not displaying any issues for now. They are obviously watered, and my mix is such that it really dries out every single day. If I find there are some issues because of the mister, I will fix it. I think it will be very useful when I have mounted orchids here. It will make it much easier for me to take care of them. This is one of my Spectatissimas, which you have seen before, from Timea Takach, and you can see that this one has grown nicely. It has been 1 node, 2 leaves, and we got 2 more nodes, and there is another one actually here. So this one is more dry. That one also started to grow, which what am I doing? The camera keeps finding my face, which I think is very rude. I did think about joining these two, but currently no. Maybe in the future. But wait, where is it? I have these IKEA things. So that's how most of the plants, or actually all of them, are attached. It's obvious for those. For the bigger ones, it's not so obvious. I don't think you really see how the big ones are attached. So I will take, for example, this begonia. This is Begonia burkili. And I got these are organizers for your drawers that I bought locally. It's a Serbian company, so I don't think you can probably find something similar. But they're a perfect fit for these pots that I bought, that you saw me repot into. And I have this IKEA clip. And it holds really well. It holds really well. These are not super heavy plants, so I just put that IKEA clip here. This is for the Skadi spec board. And when I put the plant inside, you can't really see it. I wish the door would stop. The floor is crooked, apparently. I wish the door would stop closing. I maybe need to get a magnet or something. But you can't really see it, so that's actually nice. And you can just attach the plants. Now, I am quite happy with this. I will have to say I actually don't need this anymore either. There is more work that needs to be done. Again, I need to get more orchids. Here, I think it will look very nice with some mounted orchids. I would like to get maybe even some smaller ferns. I don't know if the plants at the bottom will get enough light. We will have to sort of see that via our experience, and maybe we need to lighten up a bit the load of plants. There is quite a lot of them. Not all of these need to be in the terrarium. Not all of these are favorite. Some of these begonias I was gifted. So I think I will see as I grow them which of these I want to keep here, which of these are maybe not necessary. Oh, we have a leaf here that I broke. Oopsie. A fallen soldier. Thank you for your photosynthesis. But anyway. This is such a pretty begonia. Where's the tag? Debaoensis. I always forget the name of this one. The way that this lady wrote it, it almost sounds like Lebaoensis, but it's Debaoensis. And I think I said in a couple of videos Lebaoensis, so I am sorry for being a peasant here. Now I will take you through the plants that I have. As I said, we have Hoyas here. There is a Papa Hoya. I did end up putting some Hoyas that I know will get too big for this, but you know, that's again a problem for future me. I will take them out and replace them with something smaller. I can also cut them, etc. But I think it looks very nice. Some of them are missing tags. I'm trying also my Nihusia in here. Nihusia, not an easy Hoya. Not an easy Hoya. I mean, she grows fine. I did neglect it, but she is tough to get to flower. She's budding up again. I don't know what to tell you. We will talk about that Hoya sometime in the future. She was outside in my room and she didn't really love it. She didn't grow that much. She grew a bit, but yeah, I didn't take good care of it. I cannot put Hoyas in my room outside of the tents and the cabinets that need more care because I will not do it. I know, I'm terrible. I will now take you through the plants in here so you can see what we have. Essentially, what I would do differently, I would have more patience and paint the wire. What I would do differently is make sure that I'm very clear in my communication and get this in black. I'm pretty happy. Again, I don't think misters are necessary, and what I would do differently is perhaps request a smaller mesh on the side so I can put the lights in there as well, because I think we will need them. I do admit that sometimes I'm not the best judge of what is high and low light, so this might be just fine, this amount of light for these plants. We will see. If it ends up being enough light, that's great. But yeah, it's still not finished. It's still work in progress, but I would say I would call this like 90% finished. And I do like that there is space to build on. I think maybe in some of the spaces we can add things like some tillandsias maybe here in some of these spots, or maybe I can even make like small displays like on a piece of, because I do have like a piece of driftwood. And I can maybe attach moss just to kind of cover these black spots, because like plants can't really go in here. That's quite a dark spot. It may not look so on the camera, but it's quite a dark spot. So I wouldn't put really any plants here, but I think I just need to bring you closer so you can see what's up. What are the plants? Because my camera does not have optical stabilization, I think it's best if we do this with my phone. So I do apologize if it's a bit shaky, but trust me, it would have been much shakier with my camera. But anyways, so you can see the plants here. I don't know how many plants we have, but it's a lot. So let's just start here. We have some new Gesneriads that need to be repotted. So far, they're not getting anything on them. They're not getting water on them, which I think is the goal. This is Kroll Jubilee. And I think this is miniature Sinningia. I may be mispronouncing that. I do find the leaves are very cute, and I did want something that would flower here, aside from the Begonias and Hoyas. This is one of the Petrocosmeas that definitely needs to be watered. I need to figure out how to pot these. This is Barbata. And then let's just get over with the Gesneriads. You can see I have one there and here. This is another Petrocosmea, which is Keystone Paul Kroll. And this one is one of the newer ones, which might be a bit actually too low light here for her, but this is Ozark Roses or Rose Tiger, as we can see there. That's the label that arrived with. And there is actually one more here. I did say it's not a Petrocosmea, it's Sinningia. And this is SRG, hold on, let me get it. SRG's, yeah, I will have to look actually at that name. I have it on my list. But they're cute. I think they're cute. Very nice underside of the leaf. So I quite like them. Don't, Jesus. Okay, we were challenged. We're gonna get into the Begonias here, and then we will go to Hoyas. Essentially, I will go from down to up. We have a seedling here, actually two seedlings. In the back is a seedling of Begonia Cleopatra from my friend, and this is a seedling of Begonia Blanchi, and she calls it Begonia Blanchi Dark. You saw these. I have one of Emblemanthus in the back. Quite similar to this one, but it has smaller leaves. I do believe it is a bit low light for her there, but hey. This one, this begonia suffered a bit because she was underwatered many times. And I will have to look at the tag because I don't know the names. Bipinatifida is that one. This one is the no ID begonia still, but we will keep her growing. This is Saripoi, and quite a nice one. I don't know if she will be, maybe it will be too low light for her. This is my chloristica, and I think this is Begonia chloristica. I think they said red form or something. Yeah, red form. I don't know if there is any other form, but that's how she called it, so yeah. It's growing nicely. It arrived with some messed up leaves, and all of these are new, I think. I think essentially the old ones fell off, so that's quite nice. Now, this one, I do think maybe this one could go for a higher light. Essentially, this is how she arrived with some of these leaves. I don't see her growing that much. I think she likes to crawl. This is Bullatifolia. I do find her to look quite cute. You saw Debaoensis. Now, this one is a cross. This is, I think, Vanda, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Vanda. And then in the back, which again might be low light for this begonia, it's Begonia stouti. I think also this is going to get huge, so probably not the best spot, and she may not stay long here. This is species Julau. You can see how the new growth is pink, but the older it gets, this begonia, it turns silver. It needs to get cut, actually. Now, this one that you have seen me underwater, this is Sonerilla from Indonesia. All of these, even my Emblemanthus, they all got just Emblemanthus species Indonesia, so not much of a ID. Another Blanchi in the back. This is the mottled one. She is in bloom. This plant I got as an epicea, but as we figured out, it's not an epicea. It's a plant that her name just escapes me now. I'll have to look it up. But she is quite nice. I don't know why she doesn't have a tag. I think I ran out of the tags. But I think she's going to like it here. And you saw Begonia burkili doing really well. Now, this one is a recent addition too. It arrived a couple of days ago. This is Begonia species Kalimantan. Might not get enough light there. We shall see. Begonia pteriformis, I think, is called. And she also said red form. Very nice underside there. So I did make a mistake. That's not a Bipinatifida. This one is. This is Bipinatifida, and you can see that this one didn't really take the repotting so well. It was living under a jar, and essentially what had happened is as soon as I touched it, as soon as I took it out, it got the crispy tips, so not so nice. My Margravia alcoca is looking nice. The new leaf coming in is good. The old one not so hot. This is a Hoya lanceolata. Bella and lanceolata not the same. So this is the lanceolata, not looking so hot. Will look hotter, I promise. My emblemanta is pushing out a new leaf. It is its first leaf here, so that makes me happy. Can't wait for this one to make a new leaf. Now we're gonna get into the Hoyas, which I know you cannot wait. So, oh, this one is so beautiful. This one was sold as species Han Thumb. This is one of that new species, Songwaki, I believe. So she's quite high up here. My Hoya uniflora it has so much new growth. I'm so happy about this one. It's quite a rare one too. And then Papua Hoya urniflora, two different ones. which were also growing really, really well. I will put those plants from my Hoya haul that you have seen. So Hoya Gesneriads and another Papua Hoya, they will go in there as well. I do believe this is Hoya perifolia. I will check with my list. That's a new one that you didn't see yet. Spectatissima, Dischidia estefana, doing really well. I always forget, is this Hoya Rima Splash, right? I don't know. I always forget, but it's growing. That one, the tip was a bit rotted, but it pushed out new growth anyways. And then this one is unnamed. It looks a little bit similar to Amicabilis. I think for this one, we may need to put her in lower light. This essentially happened in the other cabinet. We'll see how it will grow here. It is further away from the light. This is a Dischidia here. Very new one from Caroline Martin from France. The name escapes me. I'll have to put the name. I'm sorry for not having all the tags. Naihusie. And then a beautiful one. I love this Hoya so much. This is from Rolf from Sweden. And this is Longicalix. So not even I know all my Hoya names. I actually know what they are, but sometimes, it's difficult to remember them on the spot. I think this is actually quite a sexy look here. My Leocantha from Stephanie from Sweden, Stephanie Rivello. So nice. This one is going to get too big, and I think I'm going to chop off this vine. It's annoying me. It lost the new growth, so I think we're going to cut that. Another Spectatissima, and from Timea, Hoya that is sold to her as species Caviar. I will insert the flower of what it's supposed to look like. It's, again, similar to those Amicabilis type Hoyas. If we could focus. So I think those are all of the plants. I don't know, you count how many there are. And I think it looks nice. You probably could fit more plants if they were on the shelves, but obviously you wouldn't get the same look. I mean, if we just compare it, okay, this needs to be organized, right? But yeah, it's just different. It's a different look. I do like this quite a lot, and I, again, cannot wait for them to fill this out.
Keep calling out, the wind starts to howl, loud for the moon. Am I reaching out for you underground? Am I allowed? But somehow, for you and I, this tracks. As long as no one asks what this really feels like inside out, they never would have guessed. We really did our best to make the story last. But I know that you are just an echo from below. And I hear you come through my dreams and tell me something sweet. And that's all that I need. Lost in tall grass, souls in the soul.
So essentially, that is that. That is my RUDSTA transformation. I do hope that you enjoyed the video. I do hope you like my cabinet. I think it looks very nice. I'm super excited to see the plants grow inside. We do have to close the door because the AC is on. And at the end of the day, I think this is going to be a nice angle, a nice background for the videos, and that's all what matters. We will take care of this one in one of the videos together. Essentially what I think we will do here, I will retrellis those Hoyas, repot them. I think I will leave the shelves, and then it will all sort of look nice and in order, and then we will do the Mills bow as well. Those need repotting. Mostly we will do repotting for those. I don't think that will actually transform this one into something like that. Not because I don't like it, but because Yeah, it's more money. It's more money, and this works really well. That is all for today. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I also really hope that next week I will be able to put out my room makeover. So stay tuned. I mean, stay tuned anyways, because something will be out on next Wednesday and on Sunday. So definitely you need to stay tuned, subscribed, comment, like the videos, all of the above. Let me know what you think. I think it's cute. I think, don't burst my bubble. I will see you soon in the next video. Hope you had a wonderful week, and I hope your Sunday has been nice. And, you know, have a great Monday. Love it. Love Mondays. All right, I think this is actually a nice look with the hair. Is it? I think I like it. It's much better than when it's all down, and it's much better than when it's all up. I just do need to tame this side. When will I learn how the mirrored image on camera works? Anyway, time to go. Bye-bye. Maybe if I part it. Is this better? Ooh, I like that too. I would like to take some time to thank all of my patrons for their incredible support. A massive shout out to my $5 patrons. My 2 anonymous patrons, Anna K, Alex von Siebenthal, Amber Clear, Anne Margaret Moon, Angela Bernard, Angela Parrish, Anne C, Aspen Drake, Betsy, Brad Noble, Karen, Candy Tap, Catherine Molina, Christine Claire Cola, Connie Pagano, Daniela Danube Daniels, Daria Kaminska, Deborah Violet, Deli Heridia, Deanne Sikorsky, Dipanjali Rao, Either W, Erin Keenan, Eleni Saxon, Ellen, M. Mortal, Farah, Gathering Moss, Gina Geise, Go Green Tropical, Gross It's Kyle, Heather Uppingham, Hoji Scott, Hoya Heather, Yana Griffin, Jessica Chio, Jonas Barry, Hjorth Larson, Jovan Denot, Kara, Catherine P, Casey Gross, Callie Gallagher, Kelso, Kimberly Polka, Kiwi Mochi, Christy Ehrlich, Lisa Mary, MPLS, Lori J. Revert, Mandy Milliken, Marcel Har, Maria Stein, Marina Yarmolich, Mars B, Marty Miller, Mary Rose, Melissa Walker, Michael Curley, Michelle Heron, Nicole Ferranti, Mirka Grun Roos, Moa Edmond, Nelly Yang, Niha Basso, Nicole Maroney, Nanguin, Nita Macy, Odette Brooke, BJ Planet Druid, Rachel Peterson, Sandra Cornelius, Sherry Kumar, Sophia Rian, Stephanie H2O, Tessa Martins, Tia B, TJWO, Trista Bailey, Tristan Thomas, Wendy Rossman, Zenia Green, Youth of the Volmut, Zaira Rivera, Zordarama, and Zlokov Niponi. A big thank you to my $3 patrons: Angelina Farnan, Kilone Constance, Daryl De Rosario, Eden C, Jessica Petron, Catherine Parsons, Kens Brown, L. Lindbergh, Lindsay Ann, Mary H, Monica Wykers, Nella, Saig Zera, Renee Church, Ringlov Tang, Watanas Riakul, and Wendy Foreman. And a thank you to my $1 patrons: 1 anonymous patron, Alice Borland, Brandon Pacheco, Christina Greengrass, Colleen Coyle Levi, Couture Helvetica, Emilia Bronson, Jamie Arsenault, Jolie Sullivan, Kayla Vavra, Kelly Ash, Chris Perez, Lauren M, Lorianne Subramaniam, Luzman Fernandez, Neely Spicer, Nerdy Kathy, Olivia Chin Mueller, Rebecca C, Sarah, and Tracy the Eyebuilder.